My name is Huang Sijie and my English name is Jessie. I come from Shenzhen of China. My family is very warm, outgoing, and welcoming. I belong to the male ethnic group, which is one of China's minority groups. I have always thought that the world treats women fairly because I grew up in a fair environment where teachers not only taught the idea of equality between men and women, but would even give me preferential treatment because I was a woman. But since September 2, African women are not allowed to show up in public or even not allowed to speak out. I realized that the status of woman is not as strong as in my mind, the cognitive destruction at the same time, but also in the track my values. But after I really both was second nature. My deepest impression of a system is a woman is not born but is from more later in life. It is the man is the society, though that she has become the second sex, which made me think about the fact that most jobs nowadays accept men instead of women. But after being made to a man, they quit their old jobs and take care of their family. This was the opposite of the ending inversion by Beauvoir, and I was so terrified that I told my mother, who in my mind was the brilliant female character, about my mother's ability to fulfill her career as well as take care of our little family. And of course, my father was very supportive of my mother. My mother, on the other hand, told me that it is better to rely on others than to rely on oneself. Yes, if a woman wants to embrace men all the time, it's like embracing a marriage is vain. At the same time, I taught her right, a distinguished Malaysian Chinese educator. In class, she maintains a strict demeanor. Finally, I struggled to comprehend her severity. However, after reading the second set, I realized her intention aimed at inventing my potential. She shares insights into her cultural background. Through her narrative, I glimpse a beautiful country. Like China, Malaysia's ethnic composition varies. Many ethnic groups primarily follow Buddhism, while some adhere to Islam. Specifically, Malays predominantly practice Islam. Malaysian Chinese mainly follow Buddhism, and India tends towards Christianity. Despite my interest in careers about Malaysian cuisine and culture. Finally, I developed the desire to study abroad in Malaysia. When I presented this idea to my parents, their very support is in encouraging me to develop into Malaysian culture and broaden my perspective. I believe this journey involves not only acquiring knowledge, but also an exchange of ideas. Against this background, I chose to delve into Malaysian history and cultures and compare it with my experience in China. This process made me realize that cultural exchange can adequately enhance mutual understanding and respect. Malaysia's multiculturalism creates a unique and vibrant social environment where tradition and modernity intermingle, allowing each ethnic group to express its voice. I began to explore the cultural fabric of Malaysia, paying particular attention to these traditional festivals and customs, which reflect the interaction and integration of different cultures. At the same time, I'm also learning about Malaysia's food culture, as I feel that in a diverse country, food culture plays a large part in the humanistic society, and I can use it to better understand the difference between the various ethnic groups. As I gradually got to know Malaysia, I realized that the country is just as concerned about our country of its secrets as China is like ending one's own name to ask a teacher's opinions and using modesty when inquiring. However, the difference in communication with China is that Malaysia communicates in English while China communicates in Chinese. However, like in Western countries, unlike the Asian theory of face negation, they prefer to be more bold and open to express their different opinions with their professors. Thus, they communicate with their professors in different ways. But here I met a girl from a Western country. She's very confident and frank. We often look at each other and smile, but my smile is probably smile from the Asian culture, while she represents the confidence of the Western culture. But this does not mean that I am a girl with low self-esteem, or on the contrary. I'm a girl who likes to socialize and be positive. It's just that we grew up with different cultures. In China, we are taught Confucianism, which wants us to be humble, organized, and collectivist. But in the West, it's mostly individualist, and everyone is good at impressing their own opinions. So the world is a huge global village. Some people use fork, some use chopsticks, and some people eat with their right hands grasping. In fact, culture not only affects our clothing, food, housing, and transportation, even the idea of the movie also portends into it. Just like I watch movies from Europe and America, their skill and the courage of the actors to dedicate themselves to their art is not comparable to that of Chinese actors. As I think Europe and the United States, the first world is open, while the domestic that is implicit and fortune simple and careful is different from the domestic part of the field. There is deep meaning, like the big red lantern hanging high this view about Song Lian from a do not submit to video socialization. But in the case of realizing that they cannot fight back, choice to become the enjoyment of the video society. In fact, she does not like the master, she just likes power. Then she meets the master's son, a half video, half new thinking young man like Song Lian, and they like attract to each other, but can only stop there. Then Song Lian fixed a pregnancy in order to complete for favor, and when she is found out by the master, and she ends up going crazy as well. She spends her life understanding the deep persecution of the video social race on the people at that time, and also lets the individual thoughts she originally had to swallowed up by power, which also hints at the low status of women in the feudal society. In this age of the internet, the level of acceptance is higher than ever before, so people are slowly accepting the cultural difference of each country and narrowing down their difference. They are also bringing their own country's most distinctive cultural characteristics into a global melting pot.